The Heaven Saga is really surprising fans all over the world, and because of that, Kurumada is opening the door for several theories based on the story. One of the strongest theories right now is the return of Kanon and his fight against Kair, but what if this happens differently? What if, besides Kanon, his brother Saga also comes back from the dead? Hello, Knights of Amazonas. Welcome to the Sempre Quis Saber channel. I'm Wes, and in today's video, we're going to talk about the possible return of Saga and Kanon in the final story of Knights of the Zodiac. Yes, my friends, the twin brothers really could return in the Heaven Saga, and I'm going to show you all the details about that right now. So go ahead and click like, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and let's get into this awesome video. To fully understand the impact of this event in the Heaven Saga, we need to revisit the historical facts that shaped the tragedy of the twin brothers. In the official universe of Saint Seiya, and specifically in the events of the Destiny and Origin chapters, which expand on the classic story, we discover that Saga's terrible authority was not just a common personality disorder or a simple human weakness. Everything was meticulously planned. The goddess Kair, who is an underworld deity and the sister of the twin gods Thanatos and Hypnos, is the main culprit for the creation of Saga's evil side. While Thanatos rules over death and Hypnos commands sleep, Kair is the goddess of cruel fate, fatality, and violent destruction. She acts in the shadows, planting the seeds of discord in the hearts of the most powerful mortals, to weaken Athena's army even before the holy wars begin. This role is very similar to that of Ioma of Mephistopheles in the Lost Canvas saga, where the specter was responsible for planting the seed of evil in the heart of Gemini Aspros when he was still a child. Keep in mind that the specter Ioma also revealed himself as the god of time, Kairos, the brother of Kronos, in the Lost Canvas saga. In the classic saga, it is revealed that Kair sent an evil star to Earth. This star deposited a corrupt spirit in the sanctuary, precisely at the moment when the babies Saga and Kanon were born under the constellation of Gemini. This evil spirit merged with Saga's soul, creating his wicked counterpart. And meanwhile, Kanon grew up under the direct influence of this dense energy, which sharpened his manipulative side and made him evil. Kair turned two of the brightest and most destructive minds in Athena's army into pawns for his own plans. The result of this, we already know well. 13 years of tyranny in the sanctuary, the death of silver and gold saints, and a bloody war against Poseidon that almost extinguished the hope of the earth. Now, in the Heaven Saga, we know that Athena's army has just gone through terrible battles in the underworld and in the past against the 13th gold saint. Therefore, the celestial gods do not tolerate the audacity of humans who dare to raise their hands against the deities and who, by traveling through time, almost destroyed the universe. It is in this chaotic context of punishment and divine judgment that the Heaven Saga begins. With the sanctuary vulnerable and the bronze saints without their memories, the ancient threats lurking in the shadows decide to act. The goddess Kair sees this scenario as the perfect opportunity to wipe the sanctuary off the map once and for all, and finally, to dominate the earth in the name of Hades. She awakens the specter Jan of Andiortros in Purgatory, and he then summons new skeleton specters to bring Athena's head. However, the fact that the underworld is destroyed and Athena's seal is weakened means that some specters are returning to the battle. We also have the possibility that the souls of the Gold Saints might be free to return to life, since Hades was killed and lost his power over his domains. With this, the possibility that Saga and Kanon, whose lives were taken in extreme sacrifices, might return to life is a real possibility. They may get a new chance to fight alongside Athena, and most importantly, to fight together for the first time. The Heaven Saga opens the doors for the greatest sinners of the sanctuary to become its most relentless defenders. Upon setting foot on the sanctuary's ground again, Saga's soul would experience something completely new: absolute peace.
Inédito, a paz absoluta de espírito.
Saga is forever free from Kair's evil seed, which was purged from his body by Athena's shield during the Battle of the 12 Houses. That's why his Cosmo now radiates only peace and justice. Sensing Kair's sinister energy, the Gemini gold cloth, which was resting in the sanctuary, would awaken once again to be worn by its chosen knight. Saga will once again use the gold cloth to take revenge on the evil goddess. However, the Gemini Knight is not alone on this journey of redemption. Emerging from the underworld, an imposing silhouette appears. Kanon is back, after heroically sacrificing himself in the underworld to defeat Rhadamanthys of Wyvern. By making sure Saga used the Gemini cloth at the Wailing Wall and that the Bronze Saints could move forward, his soul earned the right to walk the path of heroes. However, instead of claiming the same gold cloth as his brother, fate has something else in store for Kanon. A deeper, more personal symbolism. From the depths of the oceans, breaking through Poseidon's underwater sanctuary, which he once manipulated himself, emerges the imposing sea dragon scale. The mythological armor crosses the skies and envelops Kanon's body. My friends, that would be just too epic. Remember that Saga is actually the original bearer of the Gemini cloth. And if we take into consideration that in the Heaven Saga, the god Poseidon could be an ally of Athena, the fact that Kanon uses the sea dragon scale once again would make perfect sense. Remember that in the manga The Rise of Poseidon, Kanon also comes back from the dead and accomplishes this feat, even awakening the arcane form of the sea dragon scale, which would be the equivalent of a divine form of the scales. And as we've seen here, Kurumada based the journey of the goddess Kair on a character from The Lost Canvas. So basing the events of Kanon's return on the Rise of Poseidon saga wouldn't be a surprise. This visual and narrative choice by Kurumada would really be brilliant and full of meaning. By wearing the sea dragon scale, Kanon is not going back to being a villain. On the contrary, he is embracing his full identity. He embraces his past as one of Poseidon's most powerful marine generals. But now he directs all that cunning, power, and aggressiveness to protect humanity. Sea Dragon Kanon represents the overwhelming strength of the oceans, fighting side by side with the brute force of the sanctuary. It's the recognition that he found his own path to greatness without living under the shadow of his brother's gold cloth. Two brothers who spent their whole lives separated by hatred and envy, by manipulation and consecutive tragedies, finally face each other as equals in this theory. The combined cosmos of Saga and Kanon can create the most powerful Galaxian explosion of all time, capable of subduing a god. But for Kair, who has already manipulated the twins before, they are still just mortal playthings. However, the goddess's smile would disappear the moment she felt the first real impact of the cosmos from these brothers. The battle would reach its climax when Saga and Kanon decided to combine their most destructive techniques. They know that to defeat a deity of Kair's caliber, they need a coordinated attack that leaves no room for reactions, or even for strategic retreats. Kanon raises his cosmos to its peak and unleashes his Galaxian explosion with all the accumulated fury from his years of trials. At the same time, Saga channels all his energy, concentrating the power of thousands of stars in his hands, and unleashes his own version of the galactic explosion. The two masses of energy merge in the air, creating a cataclysm of unimaginable proportions. The combined attack of the twin brothers tears the fabric of reality and strikes the goddess Kair head-on. It's not just a collision of power. It's the outcry of two souls, human souls breaking the chains of the cruel fate that imprisoned them for their entire lives. The goddess who thought herself the mistress of men's fate is completely disintegrated by the strength of the union of those she tried to separate. That would be the perfect ending for Kair and the Gemini Knights. With Kair's defeat, calm returns to the sanctuary, and Saga and Kanon fully accomplish their sacred mission of protecting Athena, eliminating one of the most dangerous and treacherous threats that appeared in the Heaven Saga. Their bodies dissolve into beams of light since that attack completely consumed their souls. However, both twins depart happily knowing that they fulfilled their purpose in that battle. Saga and Kanon embrace each other in tears, proud to have cleared the name of the Gemini Saints, who are the most proud and fierce in the sanctuary. This ending would be absolutely perfect for the characters. It resolves all the loose ends of their dramatic journeys. Saga is no longer remembered only as the repentant traitor, and takes his rightful place as the ultimate hero and protector of justice. Kanon validates, once and for all, his redemption, showing that his worth goes far beyond the sanctuary, serving a greater good. Fighting proudly side by side, without rivalries, without shadows, and without lies, the twin brothers carve their names into history as the warriors who challenged and overcame their own tragic fate. They prove that human will and love are capable of overcoming even the cruelest of divine manipulations. So, my friends, what did you think of this theory about the return of Saga and Kanon in the Heaven Saga? Let me know in the comments, and of course, thank you for watching this video until the end. See you next time. Burn your Cosmo to infinity.